Okay, it's 10 o'clock. This meeting of the Gilliam County Court is called to order. Video's working okay? Yes. All right. A quorum has been established. All present are members of the county court, and we will now have the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Okay, are there any additions or revisions to the agenda? No. Okay, all right. Correspondence and public comment. Individuals wishing to address the county court may do so at this time and at other times throughout the meeting. Speakers are asked to raise their hand, be recognized by the chair, give their name and city, and limit their comments to 3 minutes. We have 3 people who have signed up for public comment. Catherine Greiner, would you like to start?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Catherine Greiner, coming here as a port commissioner. My address is 16889 Greiner Lane, Fossil, Oregon. I'm here as a port commissioner to comment on the agenda item 6.1, consider adoption of resolution R 22513, initiated proceedings to dissolve the Port of Arlington pursuant to ORS 98345. I was surprised to see the agenda item as the dissolution of the Port of Arlington and a resolution to start the dissolution process without any of the Port of Arlington or Oregon Secretary of State's documentation attached to the packet. The port is asked to enter into the record multiple documents between all parties that outline the steps to correct the administrative error of audits not being filed along the timelines, and hopefully you got those documents. The port, which includes staff and commission, take full responsibility for the error, and the time has come to work on the solution, not the dissolution. The ORS requires a hearing. A resolution is not required, and the proposed resolution that is attached to the packet is misleading. If the county had been advised by legal counsel that a resolution is necessary, it needs to reflect the actual outcome of the port coming into compliance and how the process is terminated, being the hearing process. ORS 198.360 states that if, quote, if the county board finds that the district in fact operating as an active district, or that there is a need for the district, the board shall continue the hearing until the reports required under, and it has some statutes, are properly filed. It also addresses that there's an order to terminate further proceedings if the documents audits are received. As the port and Gilliam County move through this process, we continue on multiple projects, the port does, but are not limited. This is not a limited one. We have a subdivision in Arlington. We're operating 2 industrial buildings on the Arlington Mesa and 1 in the commercial district in Arlington, abating the Condon grade school, managing an RV park and marina, and we're also working on developing 50 acres on Willow Creek. The hearing is required to determine if the port is active, and it shall remain open until the audits are submitted. The conversation of the county and the resolution, if needed, should be how to get through the process, how to terminate the process when the port comes into compliance with the Secretary of State. There is no doubt that this list of activity reflects that the Port of Arlington is an active district and is needed in Gilliam County. The task at hand is to meet the requirements of the ORS with a hearing and how to terminate the hearing and the process when the port comes in compliance with the Secretary of State. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, next, Anna Cavallari.
May I cede my time to Jed and then I'll go after that if it's okay?
Yes. Okay, so we have Jed Crowther of Arlington.
Thank you, commissioners. I just want to state our goal has been to work on the solution. And we've done that early on to craft a corrective action plan. I recognize the need for the court to follow state statute. But I think timing wise, since there is a correction action plan in place, some of those steps that a court would be required to perform could be postponed, where I recognize you have to respond within the 30 days of receiving the letter, and just the fact of all this documentation on file, having 2 public meetings with the court already before today. That in effect initiated review of this process. Couple the corrective action plan by the port together with a letter from Amy Johns where she states that her primary interest is in helping the district comply so it can focus on the critical services provided to its residents. And I think we're well on our way to do that. Timing wise, we will have that first year audit by the end of this month. And for those reasons, I think it's appropriate to await completion of those reports before further action by the court. And, you know, if, as you need to, hold our feet to the fire or whatever it is, to take those steps after that date. That's what I would suggest. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Anna Papalari?
Good morning. My name is Anna Cavallari. I'm an attorney representing the Port of Arlington. My office address is 205 3rd Street in Hood River. I want to just say for the record, I'm here on my time and my dime because I believe in my client and I know that they're doing the right thing and I want to stand for integrity. So I offered to come here this morning to speak on their behalf. I'm here on the port's behalf to address the court's proposed resolution R 2025-13, which you will be considering today. The port acknowledges the gravity of the error which induced the proposed resolution, and we acknowledge that the county is obligated by statute to initiate the dissolution proceedings. It's surprising that the county's legal counsel would advise the court to adopt a resolution in the form proposed because it misrepresents the directions included in the Secretary of State's August 26th letter, and it misrepresents the county's obligations under the reference statutes. Specifically, the third whereas of the proposed resolution says in part that the Secretary of State's August 26th letter informed the county that dissolution proceedings must be initiated. In fact, the letter says that the county should initiate dissolution procedures. The Secretary of State letter also says, should the county determine the district will comply with municipal audit law, please work with the district on their plan and timeframe for compliance and notify our office of your arrangement. The fifth whereas states that the dissolution proceedings have been initiated on September 25th, 2025 by commencing the preparation of the financial statement required under ORS 198350. The proceeding statement contradicts item number 2 in the resolution, which states that the court will initiate the port's dissolution, and item number 3 that states that the county will prepare the financial statement. There is no statutory requirement for a county to adopt a resolution to document its initiation of the dissolution proceedings. In fact, how the county initiates the proceedings is prescribed in the cited statutes, which instruct the county to prepare the financial statement and file it with the county clerk within 60 days of the county's receipt of the Secretary of State's notice, and when and how to give notice of the hearing. The proposed resolution omits the portion of the relevant statute which states, if the county board finds that the district is in fact operating as an active district, the board shall continue the hearing until the required reports are properly filed. The purposes of ORS 198335 to 365 is to give the state and counties a mechanism for dealing with assets and liabilities of defunct districts. Everyone knows the Port of Arlington is in fact operating as an active district, a district that has worked and continues to work diligently to benefit this community. By email yesterday, I provided for the record copies of the port's August 29th letter to this court specifying the port's corrective action plan. Pursuant to that plan, the port's auditors have agreed to have the 2022 audit completed by August 31st, 2025, the end of this month. And the rest of the audits completed on and before or before the dates within the record, on or before dates with this year's audit completed by July 31st of next year. In addition to the corrective action plan, I provided for the record emails showing the port's adherence to the correction action plan and cooperation with the county in providing information to the county's preparation for the required financial statement. The port has been proactive, transparent, and cooperative in its handling of their present noncompliance with the state's municipal audit laws. The port continues to work with the auditor and communicates regularly with the county and the Secretary of State's office. If the court decides to adopt the proposed resolution, which is not required by the statutes that it cites, the port asks the court to consider revising the resolution to accurately reflect the Secretary of State's direction as included in its August 26th letter, and to include language acknowledging that the dissolution of the port is not a foregone conclusion. The court timely received the port's corrective action plan, and in accordance with ORS 198360 subsection 1, the county acknowledges that the port is in fact operating as an active district, and the hearing will be suspended until the port files the delinquent audits. Thank you.
Anna, I
Yes.
I misheard you, but I thought you said, I heard August was the first one?
No, I'm
October,
sorry,
right?
October.
Okay.
I might
I-
have said
I
August.
thought I heard
Yeah,
August. I
October
wanted to make sure.
31st, the end of this month.
Right.
Yes,
right.
sir.
For the 2022, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you
Just wanted
very
to make
much.
sure.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, is there any other public comment? Any other correspondence besides what is in the packet? We have let's just go ahead and go through the agenda items first of all. 3.1, Public Transportation Department update, Todd Lake Director. Come on up.
Good, all right.
Good morning, Todd.
Thank you to the court for seeing me today.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Todd Lake, I'm the Director of Gilliam County Transportation. My address is 303 South Oregon Street here in Condon. So, what I'm doing today is just giving you guys an update on some of the things that are going on with Gilliam County Transportation. A lot of things are similar to last year when I saw you guys. Trip availability in previous years was limited to just medical appointments due to necessity that we had. In the last 2 years, we have been able to increase that to include not only maintain the medical appointments that we want to do for all occupants of the county. We've also been able to increase it to social gatherings and other transportation needs, not just for seniors and veterans. So one thing we did is we started doing a scheduled trip twice a month for local occupants to get to areas that were larger than here. And they've worked out really well. We've continued them. We do provide, a lot of people are worried that we were providing shopping that might take away from the local businesses, which we have not done. We have provided the trips in conjunction with a medical appointment. If somebody's going to a medical appointment, we can have somebody else riding the vehicle with them. There are things that cannot be acquired here in this area. And as I said last year, I would really rather have it be spent in Oregon than on Amazon. So we don't want to take anything away from our local businesses, and we try very hard not to. The bus barn, Randy, you were asking about that earlier. So we are nearing completion on the bus barn. They have allowed us to occupy the offices. So we moved our offices from the courthouse to the new facility. There was what's called a punch list at the end of when the complete construction was completed. That punch list needs to be completed by the next week, and they're working on the last items now. The main one that most people see is on the north side of the building. There's an opening at the top of the building where there's supposed to be vents. They're putting the vents up today or tomorrow. And all the other items, not all the other items, most of the other items have been completed or will be completed by this week. I have waited to bring the last of the vehicles in until I could get some of the equipment in first in the main bays so that when the drivers approach the vehicles, they have what they need to start their day. We have most of that in place. We should be able to move the vehicles by next week. And so all the kind of vehicles will finally be out of the weather, which is what a big part of this was. To get this facility was to get all the vehicles and the staff located in one place, but the vehicles are required to be undercover. So we're going to have that done. Currently, we still have the 13 vehicles. We have rotated 2 due to high mileage. We currently have, with myself and Eileen, we have 17 drivers, 4 paid part-time. The rest are volunteers. Some of the volunteers work very extensively. Some of them work for specific people or for specific times. We're grateful for anybody who can volunteer to help move people in the county. For our community involvement, we have provided youth, transportation to youth for the 4-H opportunities, social programs, and social excursions for seniors. We have a bus that runs on Thursday for the meal site to get the local seniors into a social gathering and a nice meal. One thing that we've started doing a little bit is if we are moving somebody for a reimbursable trip, i.e. medical, we're trying to help people with their following a vehicle breakdown. We've been working with the sheriff's office. Returns for the ambulance transport, that's been a big one for a lot of folks. We do work primarily Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. However, we have made exceptions. Because when people go out on the ambulance, they're not guaranteed a trip back. So we have tried to do that when we can. And it's worked very well. And then the other thing we have expanded to is we do transport to the airport to Portland. And again, we try and tie that into a reimbursable trip, but we've been very fortunate that it's worked very well. One thing, and of course, we've had a lot of fun with everybody else doing the 4th of July parade and the Christmas parades to get, even in the rain, to get involvement, to let people know we're out there. We are not having a problem being known. We have seen a great increase in the last 4 years of usage of the system and the amount of riders. I have the data on the back, and I'll give you a very surprising statistic here in a minute. I do want to talk about program funding, and that's a huge question for everybody right now. And I just received an email today that the HRTG grant, which is the Highly Rural Transportation Grant that we've used each year, has been verified that it will not be affected.
Okay.
You guys are actually going to review the final application and signature page today, which I'm very appreciative of. That will be available. Our STIF funding, surprisingly with everything that's been going on, our 2025 to 27 STIF plan was approved and is going to be funded.
Good.
Some of it will be funded now, some will be funded in 26, but it is going to be funded. So we do have those funds. One thing with the STIF funding is they have the special session, and ODOT, you talked about ODOT having approved some of their stuff. Ours is approved through 28, but we don't have anything beyond that. The original plan was hoping that we would get increases through the next 5 years. So there's still a question for future funding for us, and we're in the same boat as everybody else.
Did you say beyond 28?
Beyond 28, they were hoping, but now we're through 28. July of 28 is what the special session approved. We were hoping for more. We'll hope to get more later. Gobi, we get reimbursements for medical through, I'll get this wrong, Greater Oregon Behavioral Health Initiative. They do a really good job of helping reimburse eligible people. That has helped us greatly. Passenger donations have been up. They're not enough to carry the program, but they're appreciated because they help us continue. Sorry, that woke me up. So the program information for the drivers, hours and such. In 22, for example, number of driver hours was 5,085 hours of drivers were behind the wheel combined. 23 was 5,094. 24 was 6,659. And 25 at the estimate, the pace we're going right now is 7,464 hours. Those drivers are in the wheel. A lot of those are volunteering their time just because they want to help their community. And I'm grateful. Number of riders, because the way the statistics take is per trip, per the leg of trip. So if we drive somebody where they count, that counts twice. So that number seems a little high, but again, basically in 2022, we were 3,506 riders in a year. 2025, we're estimated at 4,706. The number of senior passengers, 2022, 2,842. This year estimated 3,594. So we have really been increasing the amount of people who are moving. This is the big one. In 2022, the mileage for the vehicles was 144,265. That's a huge number. Next year it was 144,765. Still a big number. Last year it was 190,301 miles that we put on the vehicles. Estimated, like I say, because I did the math, 231,112 miles we're going to put on those vehicles this year. I have 4 vehicles currently not currently in acquisition, but we're working on the process. The financing is there. We'll replace 4 of the vehicles because we're putting a lot of miles on the vehicles. Is there any questions you have for me?
No, but I have a comment.
Please,
Besides doing an excellent job,
thank you.
we were able to get a full-time driver paid in Arlington still.
Part-time.
But I mean, he's
Yes.
got.
So we have a paid driver in Arlington and so grateful for Forrest. He's an amazing guy, flexible like everybody else is.
Good.
And that's one thing that, for our volunteers and our paids, for our drivers and our staff that helps drive. I mean, Sabrina helps us out. Daryl helps us out when he can. They're so good at, oh my goodness, we just got a call that the appointment was changed from next week to tomorrow. And we have a 48-hour policy, but we are so flexible, and Forrest has been so flexible up there, so is JD in Arlington, that we have been very, very lucky. Forrest is actually taking 1 passenger 3 days a week, which uses up most of his available hours, to dialysis in Dallas. They're working on the port, not the port, but getting a port and getting her to where she can stay home and only have to go once a week. But again, those have changed on a daily basis and amazing. But again, I don't want to forget JD up there or anybody that works down here. They've been amazing.
Yeah.
We had 3 volunteers join us just recently. Thought we were going to have 1 in Arlington. Turned down, didn't work out, but we have 3 in Condon that have joined us. Limited availability, but they're available, and I'm grateful. Last but not least, I almost forgot. Thank you for commenting on how I've been doing. Eileen is staying. There were some rumors that she might leave. She is not. So very grateful for that because I couldn't do this without her help. She's amazing. Thank you for the comment. Any other questions?
No, just thank you for all you do.
Of course.
It's,
Any
important
questions
service.
from the gallery? Just want to make sure. Don't miss you
Thank
guys.
you for everything you've done
You're welcome.
to get this project up and running. It's very, very important to the community to have this service. This is one of the it's a desired service of our community, and I hear about this program more than almost any other that we offer. So
Well, I
it's
hope you hear
really
positive
important.
things.
Very important.
And that's the thing that I had not done the math until recently on on the mileage. And let alone, every number is up about 25% each year. But it has really surprised me just in the 2 years I've been here, because we've been able to go back to expanding service a bit. Arlington is huge. We have a number of people in Arlington. If you know of anybody who wants to volunteer drive for us in
Yeah.
Arlington, please let me know. Leaning backwards a little bit. But again, I cannot say enough for the people that make me look like I know what I'm doing. By being amazing and just being willing to drop in the hat, move somebody in their community. A number of our people do it just because they love to do it.
Yeah.
It gives them the opportunity to get out of town and drive, yes, but they do it because they love their community, and it's awe-inspiring to me.
I noticed when I sat in that office during the transition that there was a lot of people that had like knee replacements, and then they used transport for their rehab and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So it's-
Right. It's important. And when I say I hear from the community, it is positive comments about this is a service we want. We want it to continue, and thank you for offering it.
Yes,
Thank you.
and right now we are, like I say, we're taking donations from the pastors when they want to, but we are fortunately able, with all the funding nightmares we've had, we've been able to continue to offer it for no charge. And we're gonna continue that, because if we were to offer a fare to cover what we do and the amount of hours and mileage, we'd be charging people hundreds of dollars each just to drive, because we're such a small community. We're not gonna do that. So I appreciate the court's support.
Yeah.
I very much appreciate how much the community appreciates what we're doing, and you guys appreciate what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Todd.
My pleasure.
Back to work.
Sorry. Okay, do we have Jeff Schott present? He's not here for item 3.2 county capital projects update.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to send it?
Yes, would you?
I signed my stuff.
Okay. Commissioner Watkins, would you like to give us an update at all on the fair board from what you know, since he's not here, the fair, the event
all I
center?
know is that they poured concrete the other day, so I'm
Mhm.
guessing they're, are probably getting ready to put up the supports,
Mhm.
so. And they said that they were hoping to get the bones of the project up before winter. And then do the inside work over the winter, so. And hopefully a completion date by February or March.
Mhm. Yeah, okay, that's great. It'll be good to have that
I'm sure.
available
Jeff
for
knows
summer
way
weddings
more.
and,
Yeah.
yes, that'll be great, good. Okay, we're gonna move on. We do have a letter from, Cohen Hall regarding, the county fair. Gilliam County Court donated to the auction pool, so it wasn't to an individual. And so that's where that funding, that's why he wrote the letter. He must have been a recipient of, some funds from the auction pool, which we were a contributor. In your packet, 3.4, there's a letter from the city of Arlington regarding small business recruiting opportunities. And we don't have this as an agenda item, but the letter is in your packet. So did you have any questions about that?
I do,
Okay,
what is the Gilliam County Economic Development Team?
yeah. It was a letter written to us, not written by us.
Yeah, I just wondered if there was,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
so.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I just,
go ahead.
I read through this and it sounds like an economic development person, basically, to me.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think the court has tried that a
Mhm.
couple different times with not much success.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So. Yeah, it's in your packet.
Okay.
And. You know, it's not on the agenda that for this particular meeting as far as an action item or a discussion item, so. We'll just move forward from there on the agenda. There is a card from the city, Arlington Public Library under item 3.5. That was their, thank you for attending the mural presentation. And they have a really nice mural in Arlington now on the side of the city hall building. And it looks really
I
good.
saw that.
And that was a nice joint effort between the library and the city and the county from funding to make that happen. It's a nice welcome off the freeway, I think.
Is that a
Alright.
special projects grant?
It was one of the grants.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Okay, consent agenda 4.0. We have consider approval of second amendment to road use agreement with Oregon Trail Solar LLC. And to address Commissioner Watkins, you had asked, and we will honor your request that these be separate items and not on the consent agenda. But this particular one was put on the consent agenda because it just was a date extension.
Yeah,
And so that's why.
and this is because they're not done with the
Mhm.
construction?
Yeah.
Okay.
4.2, consider approval of 2025-26 transportation for veterans in highly rural areas grant agreement. 4.3, consider approval of bills pending review for September. 4.4, consider approval of minutes, September 17th. And 4.5 and 4.6, consider approval of Oregon Health Authority agreements 2 and 3. So those are the items. Is there any discussion on these items?
Either taking emergency preparedness. $10,000 away from it.
On the Oregon Health Authority.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Anyway, I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? None? new business, item 6.1, consider adoption of resolution R 2025-13, initiating proceedings to dissolve the Port of Arlington Special District pursuant to ORS 198.345. Is there any discussion? We did hear some public comment on this. Do we want to consider any of that comment?
Yes, is it necessary to do this?
It isn't in the statute to proceed. Our legal counsel did look at the resolution and provided us guidance on the resolution. I guess we'd have to ask ourselves, what would be the harm or benefit of doing so? Go ahead.
So the financial stuff that's been submitted,
The documents have been submitted that the Port of Arlington needed to provide to us. We also here at the county have items that we had to gather as well. All of that by the law must be filed with the clerk.
Okay.
And we took that to Maine County Clerk. It's silent on what clerk, so we believe since the clerk is the record keeper of the county, that's where that goes. So what the port provided, they provided everything they need to provide to our knowledge, and then that was just yesterday. And then the county has documents also to propose. There is one portion that talks about the cost of dissolution, and we didn't address that. But that was the last item on the list. So we'll ask our legal counsel about that. So where do you want to go on the resolution? I think the thoughts on this were, this has never happened before, so we had nothing to glean as far as reference material in our minutes or historical data. And this gives a process, if this ever happens again, for another county court to be able to look at a document. That's the only reason it was done, to show that there's action taken to start.
This doesn't call hearing either.
Mhm.
That's not what this does.
This is not the hearing, no. So,
Yeah, my understanding, this is just the process that we're supposed to follow. And then, but Anna,
and I can understand their concerns for not having something outlined in the resolution that gets you out of this.
get you out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or, you know, what's the process when they follow everything?
Yeah, the law says so, and I think, the law states that if they complete everything, then the order is terminated, then it's dismissed. It seems to be.
So what's the difference between a resolution versus an actual order?
Yeah, they're two different documents.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, this was just our way of starting this to show a record of where we started and where we'll end up.
So you file the financial statement and you have 30 days.
Here's you wanna look at the statute?
I looked at
Okay.
it actually.
Yeah.
So it looked like you had, like, what did they said, 21 to 30 days. You have to file it if you're gonna have a hearing, you have to advertise it for.
Yeah,
3
we have to
weeks.
advertise it for 3 weeks. Yep. Yeah.
So my suggestion would be to do the, file for a hearing. And meanwhile, hopefully the court's auditors get their stuff into us
Right.
and.
Yeah.
yeah, I think the biggest thing is making sure that we're just doing the process. And we know you're working on it and
Right.
get through this and just trying to do it. To make sure everything's covered and, I mean,
Cause this, just reading through it, this kind of appears more like what you would be doing at the last stages. So.
Well, one thing that we could do is take the resolution, consult our legal counsel, because they're not here, and ask them their recommendation on proceeding with the resolution.
Okay, so they didn't.
They did.
Create this.
Yes,
document?
they did.
Okay,
Mhm.
well, and to take into consideration what we heard today
Mhm.
before we do any action on it.
The only thing that that I did here is the letter does say, should, I agree with you, but the statute says shall. So I think that was just one point that, so we could just go back to our legal counsel and ask him how we proceed.
Yeah, I would like to have
Mhm.
what Anna said,
Mhm.
shared with him and just,
Yep.
just to make sure
Mhm.
we're just
Yeah.
trying to do the
Right.
right thing and
Mhm.
go forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all understand the end is gonna be the same end. That's what we believe as well.
Yeah.
It's just, there was this law that I don't think any of us were aware of, that this is the process. And when it says shall, we have to do it. And that's what the statute says. Excuse me? Whether or not we need to do a resolution. What was the issue? Specifically? I did hear, so we're clear for the minutes. Let's clarify, if we could please do that. Specifically, what is the concern with the resolution? If we could go over that one more time, so that when we do talk to legal counsel, we're clear. I appreciate that, because that would be, the shall and must was one of them, correct? Or whether or not we need to pass a resolution at
Yes,
all.
I would be more than happy to talk directly with your legal counsel. I'm not here to give legal advice. I don't represent you guys. I don't wanna
Right.
Right.
try to do that.
Exactly, but you have
but
concerns.
As a representative of the port, what I can say is that the resolution is not required. The steps that you're required to take, or that anyone's required to take,
Right.
are outlined in the statute. And in the future, you know, if something like this were to happen again, a future courts or,
Mhm.
counties would have to go to the statute and see what it says at that
Mhm.
time to see what the process is.
Mhm.
My understanding is the point of your resolution was to
Mhm.
document that you have started the process. But the way the statute reads, the documentation of the fact that you have initiated the process is shown by filing the financial statement, which you guys are on the road to doing. So it's been discussed. I think that anybody can see from the public record of your last two county meetings,
Mhm.
and also from this meeting,
Mhm.
that, it's being addressed. And that's the primary issue that the port has with the resolution. Is it appears to be, kind of the steps that will be taken and the numbered portion of the resolution look like selected parts of the statute and not the entire statute. So as far as providing a blueprint for what's to occur if this ever happens again, it's not necessary, because you would go to the statute if it happens again and see what the statute says at that time. And it's not a complete, accurate representation of what the steps are for the statute.
Mhm.
So if the court is considering this resolution for the purpose of documenting that you have initiated the process, it's not necessary. But if you find that it is, we're just saying
Mhm.
that if you're going to adopt a resolution, which is an official act of this county board,
Mhm.
that the steps that you're going to take or you have taken, are the preparation of the financial statement, the filing of the financial statement, notice of the hearing, when the hearing is going to occur, and what's going to happen at the hearing. And that's the piece that seems to be missing from the resolution. Is what happens at the hearing is that there's a decision at that point of whether the port is an active or an inactive district.
Mhm.
And we all know that it is active.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the statutes are what we're going to be following. We will reach out to legal counsel for guidance on how to proceed with the resolution. Is that agreeable?
I would feel.
And
more
then just go
comfortable with
forward.
that.
I just think we're getting bogged down in the resolution, and we have a process that's clearly laid out. And we just want to get through this so we can
So,
do our good
so do
work.
we.
And you too,
I
right?
agree. Yes.
Exactly.
Great.
Yes,
And
thank you.
as I said, I'm happy to
Mhm.
speak with your legal counsel, and I would be happy to connect directly with them if there's anything that we can do.
Okay,
So thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Al.
All right. So we may consider this at the next meeting. We'll have an answer by then, I'm sure. Okay, The next item on the agenda. The agenda is discuss ODOT update. So I listened to the ODOT Senate legislative session, which took place, was it September 29th, Monday? And the bill was passed. So as soon as the hearing was over, I sent an email to Scott Peters with ODOT, who is our local contact. And I said, hi, Scott, just listen to the Senate hearing. And they just voted 18-11 to pass the transportation bill. Locally for Gilliam County, will service levels change even with this passage, and does business proceed as usual now? Also in Wheeler County, will those jobs be restored immediately, and will those maintenance facilities reopen? My thoughts of concern are that these taxes will not be collected overnight, so how can there be an immediate solution? And his response was, the way it's been explained to me, the maintenance stations, Mitchell and Maupin, let me repeat this so I don't confuse anything. So the way it was explained to me, this is what he says: no maintenance stations, parentheses, Mitchell and Maupin, will close down for now. No more layoffs for now. None of the new taxes kick in until January. We already have a base budget. It just wasn't big enough to cover the biennial budget. So we can operate until January on what we already given from the fuel tax and what the governor has given from the general fund. The service level issue may still be a discussion, since there will still be a tightening of the belts, but I will let you know more that now that we're no longer in limbo. So this is the most timely information I have now to share with you. So,
and then there's a potential hiring freeze.
there was a hiring freeze before.
So if any of
Mhm.
those people that were at those, so I'm guessing that a lot of those people at Mitchell
Well,
found other jobs.
yeah, right.
So our crew is maybe stretched.
Well, we'll find out where we go from here. He said, the last thing he said, we'll let you know more now that we are no longer in limbo. So it was super fresh information when we talked. So, and that was Monday. Okay. So, but winter's upon us. So
I don't say that.
it's coming October. All right. Are there any announcements?
Jeff not showing?
He has to be totally forgot.
Oh, shoot.
He apologizes. So we'll get him next time.
Okay.
Yeah. Announcements. I have a meeting coming up this month to discuss Frontier County's housing solutions. I'm excited about that. We have the SWCD tour on October 20th. Did you receive notice of that? Okay, that will be a great way to learn more about what they're doing and showcase the project.
That's virtual fencing, right?
Mhm,
I think
Yes.
30 or so.
yeah. The next meeting, I believe it's gonna be the next meeting, Nick Green to talk about the beef grant we received. Okay, we're gonna have him come start the process of discussing with us what the grant is going to mean, the steps we need to take, and how we move forward through this process. So, he's had to gather his information as well, because there's been a lot of meetings on the, Business Oregon side, just to learn how we proceed through this. Capital investment grants are opening soon. The bus barn project, they're moved over, everything's going great there. The event center project, we went over the BEAD funding. Working with waste management, we have a draft. We'll share with you that draft, hopefully, at the next meeting, because we're 3 full months ahead of the deadline. So it's proceeding through. it's been a interesting process. Planning's working on their conditional use. They've had a planning commission meeting. They're working on that process, so that's working well to coordinate all of that. We have the waste management host fee agreement. That's a 10-year agreement. The conditional use permit is renewed every 5 years. So that will come before us as a body to consider their changes to their conditional use. There were things in the host fee agreement that didn't belong in the host fee agreement. There were things in the conditional use that didn't belong there. So we put those items in the proper agreements, and that's one of the things we worked through. We have come up with a good amount. It's just not quite finalized yet. So next meeting, it'll be good to have that done. Every 10 years is a long stretch of time to commit for the future, because it's not just this county court. We're making decisions for potentially another group of people for the history of Gilliam County. So there's also a road use agreement as well with the host fee agreement for Cedar Springs Road, and that will continue regardless of where the road is. That's all outlined. There are a lot of things in the agreement that were built in for the future that I learned, such as a CPI on the amount of the fees. But we proposed an amount in addition to the CPI. So then there's also the chemical waste management host fee agreement and their road use agreement. They all expire at the same time. So there's a lot of work to be done all at once. So that's a lot of what I've done this month.
So when the gas plant comes into the picture,
Mhm. Right now,
yeah,
we're doing research to figure out what are their property taxes going to be. And that's gonna be, to me, the place to start. And then we can discuss with the Citizen Advisory Committee, you know, what they think about that. But I think we need to start with the taxes and figure out what is their contribution in taxes alone first. But if anybody has input, this group is gonna vote all however they choose individually, but
yeah, when we took our one tour up there, they said that that gas plant will produce gas well after the,
Closure.
yeah,
mhm,
in 120
Yeah.
years from now.
right,
So
mhm, yeah.
is there potential for some, host fees off of that?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
just throwing it out there.
this agreement is for tipping fees, and that's what this agreement's for.
Yes.
And this agreement has to be done by
But I
December
mean,
31st.
looking down the.
Yeah, looking down the road, yeah.
Cause I don't know when that's gonna be completed
Yeah,
or up and running. It's too
Mhm.
bad it wouldn't take some natural gas right into Arlington.
yeah.
They're supposed to have commissioning here, end of October, somewhere in there,
Mhm. When will,
On one of them.
when is Waste Management
Are they
gonna be
both-
back to speak about this
on
themselves?
that, LNG plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have them on the schedule
I'm
yet.
not sure on one or both, but I was talking to one of the gals who got hired for it. And she's saying that the commissioning crew is supposed to be in here sometime in October.
Yeah, and we need probably Waste Management to address it with us. What's the status and when? Yeah.
I would assume that they would come to a meeting where you're discussing the host fee.
Absolutely, yep. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Is there anything else for you?
So the triennial review is done. There is some findings. Some of the confusion is when the money comes from OHA and goes into the treasurer's office, and then Daleen is doing the quarterly reports and then drawing just the money that they spend. That she wasn't seeing the clear in and out, and then you go from one end of one tax year and you may not be drawing the money until the next, when you're starting to the next, like maybe in July or August. So that is not cut and dried for, so,
What's the What's the solution?
I don't know, Daleen and I talked over a couple different ones, was just as we get the monthly statements, just taking the monthly money. And then, but the problem is that they give you so much money in a year and they pay you each month for that yearly fee. Well, then if you don't spend it all in that month of your whole annual, they take it back.
Mhm.
Then they see the next quarter you used it, so then they give it back. So and I complained to the gal about,
Yeah.
it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know why, I said, I don't know why they can't just wait till the end of the year. And
Mhm.
then see, did you spend all your money? No, you didn't spend all your money, so we're gonna take it back. So, but they don't, and sometimes the end of the fiscal year ends in June and they may not get around to taking money back from that last fiscal year till like November of the next year. So it's,
Sounds like the bookkeeping and public health is a big
yeah, it's a,
part of it,
yeah.
doing it locally.
But we, at first, because they kept adding so many programs, like they'd have 42.3, 42.5, and 42.6, and 42.7.
Yeah.
That they would, Nathan didn't want to keep creating new
Mhm.
programs because he didn't really know where it's going at. So he was just putting them all in like 42.
Right,
And
you can't do that.
they don't like that.
Mhm.
So we did sit down with Brooke and Nathan this spring and talked about adding more categories into the Cassell.
Mhm.
But I think after we get the final report back from her, we're gonna sit down with Brooke and Nathan and
Okay,
go over the findings, so.
right. Okay,
But there's nothing blaring out there, it's
Yeah.
just
bookkeeping logistics.
her bookkeeping mind thinks that everything, she thinks $500 goes into the county and then $500 should go to the district and then that's it.
Yeah.
But that's,
Mhm.
cause
Okay,
they might give $500 and we take it to $500 to the district and then they decide, oh, well, you only spent 200, so we're gonna take 300 back. And I think at the time we were worried that, we didn't wanna have the health district have to pay it back to the county so that
mhm. Right, okay,
it's a nightmare,
yeah. All right,
but it's doable. So.
Yeah, I attended the Norcore meeting a couple weeks ago. At the correction staff ratified their contract that expired. The old one July of this year. So that was a good thing. That leased building that they have, we're faced with a big roof repair,
Oh,
but there's like 500 some thousand in the budget for maintenance repairs that they have this year.
so Norcore leases a building
Yes,
to institute.
yeah,
Okay,
and this part of the roof, majority of the roof is 20 to 30 years old. We had leaks, so some of the estimates to just try to repair were significant. So we're weighing options to just do a replacement, take care of it, but it could be up to 400,000, which would eat up a bunch of the,
yeah,
so
okay,
anyway, hopefully. This next meeting coming up here this month, we'll have some more information, but we're gonna have to do something. Cause we don't wanna lose the revenue from
oh,
the
wow,
lease company, so. And create a meeting next week, but
okay.
that's all I got.
We did get the release of covenant on the grain lab. We're clear, it's been reported, we're clear with, Economic Development Administration. So we have that building that we cannot have religious or discriminatory, activities taking place there. That's the remaining portions of the covenant, which of course we would abide by that as government anyway, but, so I did have some outreach from Northwest Grain Growers, so they are looking at pictures. They don't know if it's gonna lead to anything, but they wanted to see and potentially maybe want to tour it. So, yeah,
So they
So,
did pay
and have-
attention to my email.
Kevin Hagwood was the one that got it set up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Well, then they ignored my email.
I don't know, I don't. Kevin Hagwood, I had a meeting with him on the water at the industrial park, so we understand that and set up a billing procedure so that we have. If something has arrived, we're gonna know immediately, we're gonna have pictures of the meter so that we know what's going on because there's a water agreement with him for the industrial park. And that was a good meeting. And then, we're working on the handbook too. It's been a huge Brooklyn, and a team of people are working on the handbook, and we need the handbook in place and updated. So that when we go into union negotiations, we're prepared, and have that completed, so. And I think we can put one of the things that you had a concern about within the handbook. I think that's where we can capture, the, volunteer.
Responders.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, anything else? No?
I had a Capco meeting last Friday. It gave me a survey to fill out, and I'm looking at it like, okay, this is really
Mhm.
deep, so I haven't tackled it yet.
Okay, all right. Our next meeting will be, October 15th in Arlington. So we're gonna have we're gonna have public hearings, not till November, but there's gonna be 3 coming up. We have local contract review board, we have, the public hearing for the conditional use permit, and then the Port of Arlington. So we'll have quite a bit of things going on all at once with public hearings, so. Okay, there's no further business. This meeting is adjourned.